All right, let's talk real quick about the top secret of 2025 for dominating your real estate market, right? What is the number one lead source that's going to absolutely take you in 2025 where you want to go this spring market, take it over, and actually hit the goals that you have set? I know you've written them down. I know what you know. I know that you know what you want to do, and I know that you want to do better in 2025 than you did in 2024. So what is going to be some of your lead sources, right? Before we really break down what those lead sources are, let's just kind of look at the psychology and the makeup of what's happening in the real estate market as we speak. So the last couple of years has been riddled with higher interest rates than really any of us who have been in the business for, even 20 years have ever seen. When I got into real estate in 2003, I think interest rates were at like 6%. So that was, and I remember I was like, oh, it's great. I remember getting a 5.75 on my first condo in Chicago, and everybody's like, wow, that's an amazing interest rate, right? I'd actually be happy with 5.75 again out in this world that we're living in. Last we spoke to our lender, which was yesterday, he was telling us, yeah, we could probably quote 6.8, right? So we're getting there. We're just not there yet. So we've all seen the reports. We've all seen the stuff on social media. 74% of real estate agents sold 0 homes in 2024. Why is that, right? Are these agents who are bad? Do they give bad customer service? Are they not trustworthy? No, these are great people. These are good, caring real estate agents who absolutely want to do the best for their clients. Out of that 74%, I can guarantee you a large percentage of those people had properties under contract, and then something fell through, and then they weren't able to recoup it. That buyer lost their job. That buyer transferred out of town. That listing expired. The inspection was bad. A number of things, right? These are good people trying to make an honest living, and it just didn't happen for them in 2024. What can those people do to secure some sales in 2025? What can the agent who said, look, I need to do 20 deals a year, who only did 10 last year, what can they do to hit 20? Let's go back in time just a little bit. Let's go back in time a year ago. A year ago, it's February, Super Bowl's coming up. We've all heard the market takes off after the Super Bowl. We watched January, interest rates were dropping. Inventory was looking good. It was moving in the right direction. Newer houses were coming on the market. Buyers were negotiating. Things were looking good. We actually had a decent spring last year, and some of those agents were like, I don't know, I can't get something done here, but whatever. They're like, I'm going to figure it out. And then 180, interest rates shot back up. Those buyers that you would talk to a year ago, they were ready to go. How many of you got that call from your client going, yeah, we're going to have to put things on hold. The rates they're going in the wrong direction. How many people had that conversation in January and February of 2023? I'm going to guess the same amount, right? So here's the secret, right? Right now, we have a bunch of buyers who've just recently signed buyer broker agreements. We've got a bunch of buyers who've shown a reinvigorated focus on buying a house. Have you ever heard of pent-up demand? Have you ever heard of deferred maintenance? That could be your car, your house, your personal health. The fat man doesn't go on a diet and start exercising until he has a heart attack, right? Something has to change for a lot of people to jump off and make a change. And sometimes it's not a heart attack. Sometimes it's just like, you know what, that's it, I'm sick of it, right? So maybe I live in an apartment and the heart attack is the landlord's gonna raise my rent again. Or I can't find a place that's, that just, seems nice. Or, maybe you're driving down the street and you're like, man, this neighborhood's just not going in the right direction. I got to get out of here. Maybe your neighbor's driving you nuts and you're like, I just got to sell this place and move somewhere else. Maybe the kids are getting bigger and you're like, look, we can't raise 3 kids or 2 kids in this little 3-bedroom house. I need more space. It's a number of things. Right? Life continues to move on, and sometimes the place you're at doesn't support that. And so 7% be damned, I'm going to go and, I just got to make my move, right? So the number one lead source for you right now, and in all honesty, is really going to be two places. Your sphere of influence, and I include your past clients in that, friends, family, people you've worked with, and clients that you've engaged with in the past, people who are ready to go and maybe weren't doing anything. Your second best lead source is going to be all those leads that you collected over the last couple of years. Some of our highest motivated people right now in our database have been in there for a very long time. I just got a lead notification, just popped up in the Lofty system, and it says so-and-so returned to the website, right? I'm getting a lot of those right now. People are in our database, they're looking again. They've been on pause. You can only pause your life for so long, right? That's just the reality of life. You can only defer your plans for so long. Ask that couple where one of them is delaying they've been engaged for 3 years, 4 years. You can only go so long before it's like, look, we're either going to get married or we're going to break up, right? Like, let's choose one. We can't be engaged forever. People talking about their dreams. You can only do it so long before you go from dreamer to just trash talker. This guy just yaps, right? So that's what's going on in your database right now. Reach out to your people. Your new leads are sure, they're great. They're good. Don't stop lead generating. But more importantly, don't stop lead follow-up. In all honesty, in my 2-hour time block for lead generation, I spent 30 minutes on new, an hour and a half on old. And I can tell you my pipeline for 2025 looks very strong, especially compared to 2024. I've got listings out there right now with people who are just like, you know what, I'll just deal with it, right? Rates can't stay high forever. I'll deal with a higher payment. Let's find a good house. I can refinance in the future. They're not doing the date the rate stuff. They're just going, I'll deal with it. I just can't be where I'm at anymore. My life is on hold, and I can't keep my life on hold. You're an agent. Don't keep your life on hold. How do you make a change? If you're not happy with your business, how do you make a change? Change this one habit. Follow up. I've heard for ages. In 2003, I remember I went to a Mike Ferry seminar, and I remember him standing up on stage, and he's like, 80% of your business is going to come from the lead follow-up, not the initial contact. That's been set in my brain since the beginning of my real estate career. And it's absolutely true today. And in fact, it's probably higher than 80% in today's market. And it's not just about following up with the appointment you had last week. It's about following up with the people who you've talked to and the people who you spoke to a while back. And don't be afraid that it's been a while. Hey, Bob, this is Len. I know it's been a while. And then go into it. Just wanted to give you an update of what's going on in the real estate market. I know that you had talked about it in the past. I understand that rates have been a little bit high, so you put your plans on hold. Here's what we're seeing. And then just go into it. Explain your local market. That's my advice to you. If you don't have a good system to follow up with people and identify who to speak to first, because that's the other thing too, is you got to be efficient about it. I've got like 14,000 leads in my database. I can't call all 14,000 of them. I need to know who to go to first. So we've built some systems inside of Lofty. I'd be happy to share those with you. So comment below and say, hey, this is the system I'm using. How do I dive deeper into it? I'm in Lofty. How are you diving deeper into it? I'd be happy to share those with you. Comment below on those. Let us know what you're doing. If you've got another lead source that you'd love to share with people, we'd love to hear that as well. We all win together. There's, they always say you've got to hit rock bottom before you can go back up. We had 2 years, at least in Phoenix, of basically identical low number of units sold at like 67,000 2 years in a row. I don't anticipate 2025 being another 67,000 units sold year. I expect it to start going back up. So capitalize on that. This is your year, but in order to not be in the report of 68% of real estate agents in 2025 sold 0 homes. To not be in that statistic, you got to get on the phones. You got to make some phone calls. You got to reconnect. Reach out if you have any questions. Be happy to share what we're doing and love to hear what you're doing. Talk soon.